Okay, under modeling, let's take a look at a few things that we did under modeling. Under create cut fill volumes, we added something very simple. Now when you go to run your volumes, it does a quick scan to see if you left any meshes out there. Certainly, you have to manually delete the meshes before running it. Sometimes people would leave old ones out there, which could mess up your volumes. Now it actually does a quick prompt. It says, hey, I found some meshes. Do you want me to delete them for you? And you say yes, and it moves on. So, Dan, you can skip on by this one. It's pretty simple. Again, it just prompts for meshes and ask you to remove them. We did make some closed mesh improvements also in 2022 R1 for the closed mesh tool. We allow for multiple boundaries to be used now through selection sets or multi-picks. We expanded the element types that can be used for boundaries, and we will also allow for multiple top and bottom elements to be used. Again, you can go on by this one too, Dan. Quantities by name boundary, we added a prompt to the tool to enable or disable the creation of clipped graphics. This is something, why did we do this? Well, the problem is when you create clip graphics, it's a fairly time-intensive project or process. And a lot of times users would just enable the toggle, not really knowing the implications that it's going to take more time. Now, again, all we do is we just notify them and say, hey, if you're going to do this, just keep in mind it's a fairly time-intensive process. So if you need them, for all, by all means, go ahead and create them. But if you really don't need them, it just lets you know that you can toggle them off. So it's just kind of notifying users of how the process works. All right, next, Dan, create 3D by Drape. We added a new tool to drape a 2D element onto a terrain and create a 3D element. So again, you could do this in the past, but you had to create a profile. What we've done now is we just kind of reintroduced a functionality that was in our legacy products that says, hey, I just want to create a 3D graphics. Let's take a look at this real quick. On the left, I've got a 2D line. Notice over on the right, I have nothing in the 3D. And so under our 3D elements tool, we've got a new tool, create 3D by Drape to surface. And what we do here is you just identify the element, you select the drape option, which you can see here you've got the interval option. You got different options there. You can give it an offset, the interval you want to use, and you just select your option and say okay. And basically you can use vertices or whatever the case may be. We did add the ability, we add these little squares or diamonds on there that kind of show you where the sampling is going to take place. So for example, if I do triangles, you'll see where it crossed triangle sides. If we change this to break lines or we change it to an interval, you can see where it's going to pick them up. Basically hit a data point, accept it, and the line is automatically created in the 3D. Just foregoes users having to go create a profile and just creates a 3D automatically on the fly.